نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته, and welcome everyone to our Kids Hour session, a continuation of the online maktab sessions that we began before the month of Ramadan, and we have been continuing. Inshallah, today we continue and pick up from where we stopped yesterday. So let's get into it, inshallah. Yesterday we began talking about the short vowels. We said that in the Arabic language, just like in English, there are vowels and there are letters. And to make a sound, we need both vowels and letters. All right, if we have the word bat, B-A-T, bat, then that word has the letters B and the letters T. And in the middle of that word is the letter a vowel. So the letters that we have already learned in the Arabic language are all going to be able to carry a vowel and to produce a sound. So for example, we began talking about firstly the letter Aleph. Letter Aleph, which is written with each of the three short vowels. We said that the short vowels had the names Fatha, Kasra, and Dhamma. And we weren't too concerned with the names, more so the symbols that the vowels contained and the sound that they produced. Aleph with Fatha gives us a sound A. Aleph with Kasra gives us the sound E. And Aleph with Dhamma gives us the sound U. So as long as we remember that Fatha is associated with the sound A, Kasra is associated with the sound E, and Dhamma is associated with the sound U, then we are going to be able to apply all of those sounds to all of the letters of the Arabic alphabet. Okay. Then we said that we had the letter Ba. So in comparison to the letters Aleph, A, Ba, E, B, U, Bu. So we have a B sound, and we're now going to add on the A to get Ba, E to get B, and the U to get Bu. Similarly, we have the letter Ta. So we have Ta, and E sound, T, and the U sound, Tu. And finally, we mentioned yesterday that we have the letter Tha. By a similar analogy, no different, Tha, Thi, and Thu. All right, so let's just read these first two lines before we move on, inshallah. After me, we have A, E, U. Ba, Bi, Bu. Ta, Ti, Tu. Tha, Thi, Thu. Okay, good. So our job today is to try and expand that same method to the rest of the Arabic alphabet. All right, we begin first of all with the letters Jim, Ha, and Kha. Now we have the letter Jim. So we think that the sound for the letter Jim is J. All right, J. So Jim, J. Now we ask ourselves, the Fatha has an A sound. So J and A gives Ja. J and E gives G. J and U gives Ju. So we end up with Ja, G, Ju. After me, Ja, G, Ju. Okay? So the name of the letter is G, but the way that we pronounce the letter is taking that first sound, J. Ja, G, Ju. All right? Next one. This is the letter Ha, right? Ha. It's an airy sound, and the airy sound is not lost if the vowel changes. So we have the letter Ha with an A sound giving us Ha, Ha with an E sound giving us He, and Ha with an U sound giving us Hu. So we have Ha, He, Hu. All right. Next one, the letter Kho, right? Kho, it's a Kho sound, a Kho sound. So Kho and A gives Kho, Kho and E gives Chi, and Kho and U gives Khu. So Kho, Chi, Khu. Kho, Chi, Khu. Okay? So those first three, let's recite them all together. We have Ja, G, Ju. Ha, He, Hu. Kho, Chi, Khu. All right, let's move on. We have the letter Dal next. So the letter Dal has a D sound, right? A D sound. Dal, D. All right, Dal, D. So D and A gives Da. D and E gives D. D and U gives Do. So joining them all together, we have Da, D, Do. Again, after me, Da, D, Do. Next one. This is the letter Val, right? The letter Val. So instead of a D sound, it's a the sound. The. So the and A gives the. The and E gives the. The and U gives thu. So you're reciting after me. The, thu. One more time. The, thu. All right, next one. We have the letter roar. Remember, like a lion which is roaring. So it's the letter roar. Roar has a r sound, right? Roar, r. So r and a still remains roar, right? It doesn't become ra because that's losing the sound of the letter roar. So it's roar. Then r and e, re. R and E, re. And finally, R and U, ru. So, raw, re, ru. Again, raw, re, ru. So once more, let's recite from the letter dal. Da, di, do. Va, vi, vu. Raw, re, ru. Okay. Now, before we move on to any new letters, let's now make sure that we understand the similarities between what we have just read. So let's read all of the Fatha letters, right? So after me, I'm going to highlight them and we're reading after. Ja, ha, kho, da, za, ro. Okay? All of those have an ah sound. Next, all the sounds with the E sound, the Castro sounds. G, he, chi, D, V, re. Okay? And the last two columns are going to be the Dhamma vowel, the letters that have an oo sound. So let's read. Ju, hu, hu, du, vu, and ru. Okay? So we are able to group the letters by the same letter, ja, ji, ju, and we are also able to group the letters based on the vowel that they carry. Ja, ha, ho, da, va, ro. Ji, he, chi, di, the, re. Ju, hu, hu, du, vu, ru. Okay? So our ability to do that, to be able to distinguish the letter and the sound, is what we are trying to practice here. When we have become so good that we can look at this letter and say that this is G, that this is do, that this is raw, right? Then we would have reached the level that we need to move forward with regards to our letters and vowels. Okay. Let's do a little bit more today before we end. We'll finish with these last three rows. So, next one is the letter za. All right, the letter za. So za has a z sound. Z, za, z. So z and a, za. Z and e, z. Z and u, zu. So after me, za, z, zu. Again, za, z, zu. All right. Next one, the letter seen. Right, seen has a s sound. S, like the letter S. S. Right. So s and a gives sa. S and e gives si. S and u gives su. All right. Put them all together. Sa, si, Su. Right? Next one. That's a sheen. Sheen. So sheen has a sh sound. Sh. Right? Like it's someone needs a sh sound, right? So sh and a gives sha. Sh and e gives she. Sh and u, shu. So we end up with sha, she, shu. Okay. Next one is the letter sword, like the sword that you use to fight with. Now, sword and scene are very close to one another, right? Because it's sort of the same S sound, but sword has a roundness to the actual letter itself. So instead of saying sa, it's now going to become saw, like you're sawing a piece of wood, right? Saw. Next one, we have C, right? Very close to C, but a little bit of roundness to the actual letter C. And lastly, Su, another roundness to the letter Su. So we have saw, see, Su, as opposed to sa, si, su. Okay, flat, round. Next line, we have the letter do. So is this a letter dod? Right, the letter dod has a do sound with a roundness to it. So do and a gives do, right? It remains round, do. Then of do and e, d, right? D. Finally, do and u, do. So we have do, d, do. Again, do, d, do. Good. Lastly, the letter to. Now, very similar to the letter ta, but again, to is rounded, right? It's a round letter. So it's not going to be flat like ta, ti, tu. Rather, it's to, ti, tu. Right? Your mouth is making a round shape when you're reciting these letters. To, ti, tu. Okay, good. So let's read all these three lines together, and then we will group them according to the actual vowels. After me, za, zi, zu, sa, si, su, sha, she, shu, so, si, su, do, di, do, to, ti, tu. Okay. And now let's group them by the vowels. So this first column and the fourth column here, these are the vowels with fatha, which is the a sound, right? So we're just going to read them together. Za, sa, sha, So, do, to. Next one, the Castro vowel with the E sound. Z, C, she, C, D, T. Okay. And lastly, the Dhamma vowel with the U sound. Zu, Su, Shu, Su, Du, Tu. Okay. Good. So we've reached just about midway in terms of this exercise with regards to the short vowels. Um, the rest of the vowels we've got vo and ein and goin, which are sort of the last of the difficult ones. Then all of the rest are sounds that we would have recognized come directly from the English language and are not too difficult for us to cover. So inshallah, we will work on covering with those letters tomorrow, and then the day after that, which inshallah will be Thursday, we will look at starting some practice, inshallah. Okay. Let's move on to our Quran session. So yesterday we looked at Suratul Zilzal, إِذَا زُلْزِلَتِ الْأَرْضُ زِلْزَالَهَا. Today we're moving on to Surah Bayina. We won't be able to cover the entire Surah Bayina today because it's one of the longest surahs we've reached so far. So we'll just be doing about half of the surah in its recitation. All right. So remember, whenever we begin reciting the Quran, we need to recite the ta'awudh, a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, then the basmala or the tasmiyah, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. As these are long verses, we'll try to break them up as best as we can and take our time going through them. Right? When it comes to becoming good reciters of the Quran, the question isn't about a rush. The question is about how many times it takes for us to get it correct. If that is, a number of times, then that's okay, right? Our job here is to build our connection with the Quran and try to recite it with its correctness. Okay, let's go, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لم يكن الذين كفروا لم يكن الذين كفروا Again, it's a little bit long to start off, but this is a good split. لم يكن الذين كفروا. All right, let's continue. من أهل الكتاب. من أهل الكتاب. والمشركين منفكين. والمشركين منفكين حتى تأتيهم البينة حتى تأتيهم البينة حتى تأتيهم البينة. Okay, good. Before we move on and do anything else, I want to say that this is obviously a very long verse, right? It's one of the longest verses we've read so far in our classes. Now, as before, we've always been splitting up the words in a verse in small chunks so that we can be able to recite them. And for different students, according to different abilities, you may need to split this up even more. For example, we started off by saying Lam yakunil ladhina kafaru. A student may need to just do lam and say lam, lam, lam. Yakunil ladhi, yakunil ladhi. Lam yakunil ladhi, yakunil ladhina. Lam yakunil ladhina. لم يكن الذين كفروا كفروا لم يكن الذين كفروا, right? So, according to the split that is required by the student, you know all that is going to differ is the fact that the student just needs to recite a little bit more, right, to be able to recite لم يكن الذين كفروا, right? It always comes down to breaking it up into small amounts, mastering the small amounts, and then building up the amount. Okay. In this verse, however, what I would like to point out is that we have an Ahlil Kitab, but there's a flat ha, um, and then here we have a ta'tiya. Ta'tiya. This is a aleph with a sukun. And whenever we find that in the Quran, it's called a hiccuping sound or a jerking sound. So, when you're hiccuping, you're hic or right? The sound stops abruptly. So, ta, ta, tia, ta, tia. Okay? So, let's recite again. Looking at the verse from the beginning, we're just going to go through each of the splits that we just had highlighted in blue. So, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? لم يكن الذين كفروا من أهل الكتاب والمشركين منفكين حتى تأتيهم البينة. Let's continue. رسول من الله رسول من الله يتلو يتلو صحفا مطهرة صحفا مطهرة. Again from the beginning. رسول من الله يتلو صحفا مطهرة. Next line. فيها كتب فيها كتب قيمة قيمة. So once more. فيها كتب قيمة. One more time. فيها كتب قيمة. Okay, we will stop here today at the third verse. Surah Bayyinah is a pretty long surah. I think I will split it up into 3 sessions. So we'll take tomorrow's session and the session after that as well, inshallah, to cover this surah. So we'll cover this surah, inshallah, by Thursday. Just as a reminder for all who are listening, we have a Facebook group on the actual Nur-e-Islam page that is for sharing of resources with regards to this program, as well as feedback. So if there's any feedback from any of the sessions, the corridor session that we just did, or even this session, please do let me know on that group. Even if it may be that we're going too fast or the student needs it to be split up a little bit more, let us know, please, so that we can try to adjust, inshallah, for those students who are listening at home. Okay, let's move on to Islamic studies, inshallah. Now, with regards to Islamic studies, one of the things that you will see on the Facebook group as well is this photo. It's a quiz that I've put up on the group as well. So you can feel free to check it out. Right, so this is the group, and the quiz is right here. Right, the group is Kids Hour Online Resources, and the quiz is here. So if you go to the Nur-e-Islam Masjid page, so this is the Nur-e-Islam Masjid page, and the very first link that you're going to find is the Kids Hour group, right? There's only 3 people here. I'm not forcing anyone to join. It's just a matter of sharing resources and feedback. If you think that it is going to be beneficial, then join on. If not, that's okay as well, inshallah. So the point of this quiz is that we have been talking a lot about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent to us as a role model. He is someone that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has claimed is the best of all creation. Right? He is our leader and our guide. It is through him Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has guided us and has revealed the Quran and has sent us the message of Islam. However, very commonly, if you're trying to understand something, it's hard to understand that thing on its own. What's very useful is to compare that one thing to other things. So, for example, if I'm trying to teach a student how big a tree is, it's best for me to go to the actual tree and show them how big it is, because then they can see how big the tree is in comparison to their own height. So just like that, when we are trying to understand the greatness of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, one of the best things to do is to look at the people who were around him. Because just like Allah has chosen Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to be our guide, Allah has chosen his companions to be his companions. They were people that Allah had hand selected to be there at his time. And they have, reached for many of them such a status that in the same Surah Bayina that we just did, Allah mentions in the very last verse that we're coming to, is that Allah is pleased with them and they are pleased with Allah. How great is it that a people, while they were alive, Allah had said about them, Allah is pleased with them and they will become pleased with Allah. Right? How great were such people? And we are trying to understand how great Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is. Let's look at first of all how great these people were, because the companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after the prophets, they were the best people to have walked on the face of this earth, without a doubt. Right? They were shining stars. If we can liken the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to be the moon, then we can liken the companions of his to be like shining stars. This was one of his words that one of the narrations of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was, his companions are like shining stars. Whichever one of them that you follow, you are going to be rightly guided. Right? We use the stars in astronomy to find our way, to find which direction is north. Just like that, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is informing us that if we follow any of his companions, then in the same way that they were successful, we can become successful as well. Okay, so every single one of these pictures represents a companion in the life of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And so we'll start off first of all with the big one, right? The biggest picture in the middle. And it's the biggest picture for a reason. Because this companion was the best companion of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was the greatest companion. And his greatness wasn't only in this world, it will also be in Jannah, in paradise as well. This companion, well, the picture that we're seeing here is out of a cave, right? So I'll give the students at home a little bit of a couple seconds to guess who is associated with the cave. Which companion was associated with the cave and was considered to be the best of all companions? So if you guessed Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala an, you are correct, right? Now, whenever we say the names of the companions, we are reflecting the words of Allah when we say radiyallahu an, right? May Allah be pleased with them. Radiyallahu an. Abu Bakr radiallahu an, he was the companion that was associated with the cave, right? We will tell the story tomorrow about the Abu Bakr radiallahu an, and give the students some time to ask your parents, try to look it up for yourself, figure out what is the cave and how is it associated with Abu Bakr radiallahu an. But Abu Bakr radiallahu an, he was known to be the greatest of all companions. And not only his greatness in this world, what I meant by his greatness will also be in Jannah is that in Jannah there will be a fountain which is called Kawthar. So this is when we did Surah Al-Kawthar, Inna a'tayna kal Kawthar. There'll be a fountain that Muslims can drink from. And at that fountain, the person who will be giving out that drink from that fountain is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So those people who followed his teachings correctly, who lived their lives in the way that followed his life, they will be allowed to drink from that fountain. And when you drink from that fountain, you are never going to feel thirst ever again. Right now we are fasting, we are hungry, we are thirsty. When you drink from the fountain of Kauthar, you will never be thirsty again in Jannah. That's not to say that you won't have things to drink. You can still drink as much as you want and as different things as you want, but you're never going to feel thirst. And the companion who will be by the side of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Jannah is going to be Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. That's his status in Islam. His status in Islam is so great that on the day of judgment, there are different doors to enter into Jannah, right? So there's a door, for those people who fasted a lot. There's a door for those people who perform salah a lot. There's different doors in Jannah, right? There are different doors in Jannah. And Abu Bakr radiallahu an has such a high status. He has achieved such a high status because of his sacrifice, because of his worship of Allah, because of that which he has done. That all of the doors of Jannah will be calling out to Abu Bakr to come through, right? They'll be wishing that Abu Bakr radiallahu anh will go through their door. He will be allowed to go through whichever door that he wishes, right? He has reached such a status that, again, we're thinking about, who is best, right? In a competition, or let's say in a race, right? We know there are different races. If you think about a race, right, the person who comes first, we know how good they are based on the person who comes second, right? If I'm saying to you Abu Bakr radiallahu anh is the best companion, then we can think about who might be the second best companion. And the second best companion we could consider is Umar radiallahu anh, right? Umar radiallahu anh. And Umar radiallahu anh, he said to that he wished like he could trade his whole life for one day and one night of Abu Bakr radiallahu anh. So to think about how great Umar radiallahu anh is, we think he is expressing that he wished his whole life was like that of one day and one night of Abu Bakr radiallahu anh. All right, so this is the status of Abu Bakr radiallahu anh. And inshallah, tomorrow we'll explain more about the cave. We'll explain a couple of things about Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, some of his achievements, some of the things that he was known for. And inshallah, every single day we will look at another of the pictures, and we will give that assignment over the night to try to figure out which companion the picture is referring to, inshallah. Okay, so we'll bring an end to our session today, inshallah, and we will continue tomorrow. Again, if there are any feedback, please let us know on the group. And please join the group if you think that it will be beneficial, inshallah. Pretty soon, I will be adding the resource for the short vowels. So you could look on that group for access to that, inshallah, when it goes up. So until tomorrow, inshallah, we will bring an end to today's session. Jazakallahu khairan for tuning in. May Allah keep us safe, and may Allah grant us His blessings and His bounty. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.